What's up everybody, Soul here with another video for Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. We're going to be taking a look at 20 different tips and tricks that can help you in starting your game, whether you're brand new to Final Fantasy Tactics or you've played for years since the original version. Without any further ado, let's get right into it. Tip number 1. At the beginning of the game, you're going to be choosing Ramza's date of birth, and by doing so, you're choosing his Zodiac sign. I would urge you to pick his default date of birth, which will pick his default Zodiac sign, which is Capricorn. Zodiac signs create penalties and bonuses when interacting with each other in the game. This includes enemies and allies alike. Capricorn has the best overall compatibility with those bosses in the game and allies throughout the game, making your general play through easier. As Capricorn, choose Virgo and Taurus recruits for good compatibility. The best or worst compatibility is based on gender, so Cancer females have the best compatibility with default Ramza or with Capricorns. Good compatibility is a 1.25 multiplier, and best compatibility is a 1.5 multiplier. Also suggests that you dismiss your initial allies and recruit allies with the Zodiac signs you want, plus make sure they have good Braves or Faith stats. This is a simplification and an opinion. Other signs do create interesting opportunities in gameplay, but for those that aren't interested in taking the extra steps or getting too involved with this complicated system, this is a very simple way to address it, and it makes the game that much easier for you. Tip number 2. You don't have to have a character on the job to receive JP for the job. You learn skills in Final Fantasy Tactics through the JP system, which it can be acquired each turn. Allies that are on a job accumulating JP will grant a small amount of JP to their allies for that job, regardless of what job that character is on. This is a fantastic benefit, and a great way to farm up JP quickly is to simply have 3 or more characters of the same job together, farming up that JP and giving cumulative bonuses. Or if you don't want to take the time to level a character in a different job, but they have access to it, you can simply farm the JP up through working with another ally on that job. It's up to you. Tip number 3. Squires have access to JP Boost and Accumulate, which are both amazing. JP Boost will increase the rate of JP gained, which is very nice and is useful at every point of the game. Accumulate grants 1 physical attack per turn and grants JP per use. Something that is simple, sweet, and is easy to spam for JP farming. It is absolutely perfect. Stone Throw also gets an honorable mention, as it has lots of utility, is decent little bit of damage, and is also a harmless way to deal damage and ensure that you get JP if you don't utilize Accumulate. Tip number 4, don't sleep on Chemist. Chemist as a job is phenomenal. Not only do they get access to guns and do some pretty decent things with those healing through their items, it also is useful at all points of the game. And while being especially useful early on, it still continues to be useful throughout all courses of the game as you get access to X potions, Phoenix Downs, and all items that reverse status effects, as well as those all-important ethers that are able to restore MP. Chemists also get access to Throw Item, which allows you to use all of those items at range, which is massive. And then they get access to Safeguard, which is a way to protect your equipment from being broken or stolen, which is unbelievably important in the game. Nothing hurts more than losing something that is important to you. They also get the movement ability Treasure Hunter, and that is of the most importance in some ways and for some players, as you are able to then move around, pick up treasure, find some incredibly rare items that are only found with this ability. Chemist are incredibly useful jobs that should not be skipped or slept on. I know so many people that didn't take the time to utilize Chemist to its fullest potential, so don't neglect yours. Tip number 5 is save often. As I mentioned before, your equipment can get stolen, broken, who knows what will happen. This game is absolutely wonderful. It is so easy to get lost in the sauce, to play the game and just lose yourself, and then suddenly you go into a random encounter or you go into a story battle and you lose, and then you have to backtrack hard and reset everything. All that progress done is lost, and there's a little bit of RNG involved in some of it, so make sure you're saving as you're progressing. That way you don't hit those spots where you have to backtrack too heavily or hard when you find hardship in the game. Tip number 6, focus on unlocking the skills you want. Just because you play a job doesn't mean you have to unlock every skill on that job in order for it to be useful. Now, unlocking every skill on a job isn't necessarily a bad thing, but some time can be wasted, and JP as well, if you're spending the time to unlock abilities that don't really matter to you. There's no downside to skipping those abilities and just not learning them. Feel free to move forward and keep progressing regardless of those jobs being unlocked or not. This is very important because of stat growth. When your character levels up, their growth and their stats will reflect the job that they're on. So if you're on a job that doesn't have great stat growths or stat growths that are important to that character, make sure that you're not wasting time trying to farm up that extra JP for skills that really don't matter and you won't use. Focus on getting on the job that you want them on for the desired stat growth. Tip number 7 is to make sure you understand Brave and Faith. Brave and Faith affect your physical and magical damage respectively, skills, and accuracy. The higher your Brave, the more damage your physical attacks and skills can do, and it also makes your physical skills more effective, such as Blade Grasp. Faith affects how well your spells work, not only in damage, but also how accurate they are. A character with low faith will be much harder to raise than a character with high faith. Units with high faith not only deal more magical damage, they also take more magical damage, so be aware of that. Tip number 8 is to recognize the difference in genders. Males grow more physical attack and HP, while females grow more magic attack and MP. So when you're recruiting your soldiers, make sure that you take that into consideration when team planning. Ramza is the exception in that regard, as he is neutral. He grows both equally in physical and magical attack, HP, and MP. So play him the way you want and don't be concerned about the gender stat growths with Ramza. Tip number 9 is to be aware that random battles are determined by the highest level character in your army. Enemies that show up in those random battles, their level is a reflection of the highest level in your army, 1 for 1. So if your highest level is a level 13, but the rest of your army is, let's say, level 9, when you go into a random battle, all enemies will be level 13. That will create a big gulf in power and a big difference in difficulty. It makes it very challenging for you to clear those random battles when you have that big of a gap in level or power between your characters. So be sure to spread the XP evenly so that your team levels and grows relatively close with each other. Tip number 10. For characters that are under-leveled, there is a way for you to catch them up safely, and that is to use support abilities on higher level allies. It doesn't have to be support abilities, you can just attack them, use things like stone throw, but support abilities are safe as in they don't deal damage and they only obviously support the character. Now, The game recognizes a gulf or gap in levels, and they awards XP accordingly. So a low level character casting Cure on a high level character will get bonus XP because of the gulf or gap in level, and it will make it easier for the lower level character to catch up in levels. It's a fantastic way to get those characters power leveled safely, so make sure you utilize it when that scenario occurs. Tip number 11, don't miss out on incredibly rare or powerful equipment that is only accessible through the skills Steal, Poach, Sticky Fingers, and or Treasure Hunter from the Thief and Chemist jobs. These abilities are absolutely massive and give you access to some of the most powerful equipment in the game that can absolutely make a huge difference in the strength of your army and your capabilities in clearing content and in even enjoying the game. Be sure to check them out, don't skip them, and utilize them to their full extent. Tip number 12 is that your equipment can be broken. You can get access to some incredibly rare equipment in this game that can be very hard to find, but very useful, and certain enemies such as knights with Arts of War will be able to break said equipment. So be sure that you are mindful of what you're facing and when and what equipment you have on. Or you can equip the maintenance or safeguard ability to ensure that that equipment does not get broken. Either way, make sure that you're aware of what you're facing and when, and protect that precious equipment. Tip number 13, act every turn. Farm that JP and do not waste opportunities to earn more JP every single opportunity you're given. No matter what action you have to take, every turn matters. So even if you're out of options and you have to turn and smack your own ally just to ensure you get the JP that you need, do so. Don't miss those opportunities. Act every single turn. Each turn is an opportunity to get more JP for your jobs. Tip number 14 is don't trust auto-equip. Auto-equip is generally terrible and will not take any notice of unique stats in your equipment, and will generally equip your characters with an odd assortment of equipment, usually in recognizing HP as the primary stat and not recognizing other substats, which are plentiful throughout the course of the game. So be sure to individually place equipment on your characters and don't trust that auto equip. It will fail you. Tip number 15 is to strip those guest characters. Guest characters often come with powerful equipment that is a step ahead of where you currently are in the story. So be sure to take that equipment off of them, put them on your characters, and put that weaker equipment back on those guest play characters. And that way you're getting that powerful equipment for the long haul to serve you more into the future, while those guest characters are bound to leave, taking the weaker equipment with them. Tip number 16, elemental rods enhance the damage of their correlating element magical spells. So a flame rod will deal bonus damage for flame spells. So be sure to utilize those rods effectively with the correlating magic. The damage boost for the correlated magic is 25%. So don't miss out on this great opportunity to deal bonus damage with those rods. Tip number 17, check your taverns often. Throughout the course of the game, there's lots of hidden content, details, and opportunities that is locked behind gossip. So be sure to check in on those taverns and listen as often as possible so that you have access to everything that is offered within the game. Tip number 18, like many games, you can heal the undead to deal damage to them. Feel free to use your healers when fighting undead as damage dealers. Cures on undead will absolutely destroy them and deal damage to them instead of healing them, as well as Raise will deal roughly about 50% of the target's max HP and damage, but Arise can one-shot those undead, killing them instantly. Very powerful mechanic that a lot of players don't realize until it's much too late. Tip number 19, dead enemies or allies have a timer on them once they have fallen. If the timer hits 0, the death becomes permanent. So be cautious when playing with those precious allies that you covet, or maybe spend a lot of time leveling, as if you leave them down for too long, they will be gone forever. And finally, tip number 20, dead enemies sometimes turn into crystals, and picking up those crystals will sometimes allow the character to learn new skills known by the original owner. It requires the new owner to have access to that job to learn said abilities, but can be incredibly powerful for learning new abilities throughout the course of the game. Otherwise, crystals will restore HP and MP, which is a fantastic bonus anyways. With that said, this is a great way to pass on skills that are learned by a character that you might not want in your army anymore. Simply allow them to fall on the battlefield, turn into a crystal, and pick them up with the character that is taking their place or that you want to take on their abilities. And as so long as they've met that prerequisite of having all of those jobs unlocked, they can learn those abilities. Very powerful mechanic in the game. So there it is. Those are my 20 tips to help everyone who's jumping into Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. This is not only for new players, but also returning players that haven't played for years, or maybe they even have played for years and didn't realize some of these mechanics existed. These are very, very useful things that some people wish they knew sooner. Kind of went through, made sure I talked to various players throughout the years, and I've heard all of these things said. I'm sure there's many of us out there who didn't realize some of these things existed, or some of these mechanics were as important as they are, or maybe just needed a nice reminder. Hopefully this is to a benefit for you, and it helps your gameplay when you're playing this amazing new game that we have on our hands here. And yeah, make sure you drop down in the comments and let me know. Are there any starter tips that you would like to make sure that people know when they're starting their adventures? Maybe there's something I've forgotten, or maybe you just don't agree with something I have said and you think that it could have been worded differently, or that I've just forgotten something that's very important. Let me know all of it down below if you don't mind. I'm eager to see your feedback and hear from you. We have a fantastic community in this game, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. With that all said, huge shout out and thank you to my Patreon members. You individuals are the ones that really allow me to make the great content and to keep things rolling, so I'm incredibly grateful to you. Be sure to check out the links down below for not only my Patreon, but as well as my Discord, where we talk all things Final Fantasy Tactics and alike. Thanks so much for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and until next time, I will catch you later. Bye.